What's up, degenerates? Here we go again. Week 3.
Fucking
All bets are
degenerates.
off. Calling all degenerates. Tune in. Another great show to talk about last week's game, the ups, the downs, the misery. But overall, great week. And I think that if anyone's been following us the last couple of weeks, we've definitely made you a bunch of money. If
Yeah, and if
you
you're
haven't
not,
been
you're
making
a
money, you're
fucking
not.
idiot. If you're not following us, you're a fucking idiot, and I never want to see you again.
Well, yeah, that sums it up basically. But
Yeah.
the locks are gold. So before we jump into anything, let's talk about our locks last week. I had Denver -6. They obviously covered against the Jags. Z, you had the Bills, right? 3.5. Yep. And
Yeah, I did. And let me talk about that. As
go.
I told you on the fucking disclaimer on the show when we began, immediately, first episode, check tape. I said, we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. And guess what? I got fucked by the Packers the first week as my lock. Now the opposite happened. The kid covered by 1 million. And that's why I have this sick ass sport coat from JCPenney's. And I have $100 bill as my pocket square because the kid is fucking money right now and in the zone. In the zone.
Relax. So anyway, hey, that's the highs. We'll talk about the lows now. There wasn't many of them. I think one huge low for, especially me, was the Chiefs -3.5. They totally let me down. Their defense is garbage. I've always hated the Chiefs, but I definitely hate them more. You know what? I don't think they're as unstoppable as people, once thought they were. They have a terrible defense. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm not going to ponder too much at the moment, but we will talk about this a little more in the show. But let's go ahead and get started on this week's games. Thursday night football. Z, I know you're all about it. Me personally, I don't know. I'd rather stay away from it. It's the Panthers at the Houston Texans. Tyrod Taylor hurt. So why are you so convinced, Z?
Well, if you heard me say on last week's episode, week 2, no fuck arounds. I said let's see what happens with Jameis this time around, right? I said Jameis was going to throw 5 interceptions, which he did. Jameis was also going to do what Jameis does best and suck his thumbs and fucking play butt cheeks on the fucking field, and that's exactly what he did. Kid was total cheeks.
He's pretty good at stealing crab legs too.
Well, you had to be a witness in order to understand what that crime was about. It was actually a gift. I was there. I'm the kid that gave him the crab legs. But seriously, though, this kid, we knew it was going to happen. Yes, they had a lack of players, and I think like 10 of their coaches were out, which wouldn't have mattered. Panthers are a better team than what people get credit for. Also, Tyrod Taylor, the fucking catalyst, was balling out. I mean, for a minute there against the Browns as well. He looked unstoppable, but now he's out for presumably about a month. They're going to start their quarterback, Davis Mills. This guy played a total of 11 games at Stanford. Wasn't memorable at all. I mean, the guy's fucking trash, in my opinion. And now they're going to go play the Panthers, who are riding hot at the fucking 2-0, tied up for the lead in the NFC South. Yeah, I'm riding the Panthers on this big time. I got them at 7. The Lions moved to 8. I'm only going to assume it's going to move even more. But if you can buy it down and get them at 7, go ahead and do it. But I still think they'll probably cover at 8. I'm totally convinced that these guys are going to roll. I have no faith or trust in Davis Mills. The kid has also been hot. And by the way, let me tell you, there's a reason why I'm wearing a sport coat and this fucking pocket square as a $100 bill. Because guess what? The kid is on fire right now. I went back. I trusted my boy, fucking Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I told you he was dead to me, but I had a feeling, and I was cruising on Sunday, and I knew it. And I said, you know what? If you guys notice games after a loss with Aaron Rodgers, his statistics are insane. He's like 26-0 or 8-0 or 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on like Monday Night Football games after he's had a loss. I knew it was going to be a blowout. Was never worried about it. And this is where I know I'm in the zone right now. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. We're on the Panthers and Texans. All right, final verdict. Do you think the Panthers are going to cover -8? I mean, I agree. I agree with that. Just for me this week, I personally don't like a lot of the games. So I'm probably just going to be parlaying money lines.
You got a mouthful of salt. That's why.
Yeah, when you ride the waves long enough, you're going to get some salt in your mouth. So,
yep.
Some 101 lessons for you, new out there. Anyway, so let's get back to this. Here we go. We got Washington, whatever the fuck they're called these days, against the Bills in Buffalo. The line is currently Buffalo -8.5. I think the Bills cover. Me personally, I'm probably going to just take Bills money line on some stuff, but I mean, Washington's trash. Their defense completely overrated. Heineke, like if you watch that game against the Giants, like it was so pathetic and sad. The kid can't throw the ball. Like I know they beat the Giants and it was the miracle on Thursday night, whatever you want to call it, but he's trash and they have no chance against the Bills.
100%. This guy's trash. Bills, as I said last week, they were going to have a bounce back week against the Miami Dolphins, and it happened. Wouldn't have mattered. Tua got injured a little bit later, but they were already getting blown out 14-0. Wouldn't have mattered. The Bills are going to roll. I expect them to be in the AFC Championship as well. Pittsburgh played them tough week 1, and they came back and had a rebound game, which I think is going to set the tone for a lot of teams, just like what it did for Packers last night as well. Thank you.
God, you just keep wanting to talk about that Packers game. You're still hyped up about it, huh?
I have a good feeling.
Hey, you got to have a short memory in this game. And boy, did you go from I hate Aaron Rodgers, he's dead to me, just to
Aaron Rodgers is dead to me.
Slide him into every segment.
He's dead to me still. So that never changed.
All right. Your Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns. The current line is Cleveland -7. Me personally, I do think the Browns are going to win, but they're definitely not going to cover that. I think it's going to be a close game, a dogfight. It could go either way. Me personally, I will stay away from this game. That's pretty much my take on this one. What about you, Z?
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Baker Mayfield did have a shoulder injury or something wrong when he tried to make a tackle on an interception last game. Right now, he does have some type of injury, but he's probably going to be probable status for the game. But either way, I just think this is one of those games that just there's not a lot of appeal to it. I think it's going to be close either way. I could see it being within 4 or 5. But yeah, of course I'm not going to bet against my team unless I know it's an absolute blowout. But nope, I'm away from this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing to note too is the Browns, their offense looks great. They're lining up, but same things as the Chiefs. They have no defense. They let the Texans, get in a shootout with them. Chiefs to be expected. The Bears still have a legitimate defense, and I know you don't really want to admit it, but Justin Fields, didn't look as good as Andy Dalton, but we'll leave that one.
He stuck in there late. They won the fucking game.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
Final verdict on that one: stay away. Cleveland won't. Okay, so we got Baltimore Ravens visiting. You know what? I should start saying their record. So the 1-1 Baltimore Ravens against the 0-2 Detroit Lions in Detroit. Current line Baltimore -8.5. Who you taking?
Yeah, I like Baltimore here. I just don't know about the points. One thing I do want to mention to our viewers is that I don't feel like I've been really doing you a justice by giving you all my information. A lot of my bets, besides being straight up, are teasers as well. So now at the end of each episode, I am going to go through my extracurriculars and tell you some teasers to play. That's kind of why I feel like money right now, because I did have some teasers. That being said, this is going to be a teaser play for me, which I'll get to at the end. But I don't like the 9. I think the Lions showed they besides the total meltdown that they had with Jared Goff fumbling a couple times actually, but I don't think their offense is that terrible. They are beat up. Taylor Decker was out this past week. Jeff Okudah is probably out for at least a month or so, and maybe out for the season. I'm not really sure. But I think Baltimore Ravens are also one of those teams that play to a certain level of another team, right? Like they stepped it up against the Chiefs. I think the Raiders, they didn't really take for real. And they kind of just left their foot off the gas a little bit. So I'm not really convinced that they're going to win by the 8.5, but straight up, I'm staying away from this game.
Yeah, same. I I would stay away from this game as well. I mean, if I had to pick a team to win, obviously the Ravens, but not 8.5 just doesn't seem. It seems like too much. It's probably going to be under 6. But totally, final verdict. Let's stay away from it. Next game, the Colts 0-2 against the Titans, 1-1. Electric game against Seattle last week. But currently the line is Tennessee -5. Personally, I love this game. I love that I think the Titans are going to cover that 5. This is probably one of those games I'll bet on this week. I know I mentioned that there'll be very few games that I like this week. This is one of them. Yeah, I mean, it's a steal. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, this is at least going to be a 3-unit play for me. One of my bigger games. I would call it a lock, but there's another game that I like even more. But yeah, I mean, the Titans at home coming off a big upset, in my mind, win off of Seattle in Seattle, the home opening game. I also know that, like, Derrick Henry's starting to get in the groove of things. Carson Wentz is playing with 2 rubber ankles. If he does decide to go forward and play, either way, most likely it's looking like Jacob Eason is going to start, which we all saw what happened, what he did against the Rams when he came in. The kid threw 1 pass and it was a pick. Not to say that that's going to happen every pass, of course, but I have no faith in the Colts whatsoever. I think they're a garbage team, and I think the Titans just cruise past them 100%.
Yeah, this is definitely a must play.
Yeah.
Next game. This one actually I'm really looking for.
This may look like a regular.
We don't have commercials on here. It's like fucking red zone. We don't get paid for it.
That's hilarious. One game that I'm actually really looking forward to, being a Raiders fan and watching the AFC West, is going to be a division game between the LA Chargers and KC, the Chiefs in Kansas City, and the line is Kansas City -6.5, which I think is pretty interesting considering all things. So, I mean, let's break it down real quick. Chiefs lost, obviously, that game against the Ravens, which still infuriates me, as well as beating the Browns. And then the Chargers had that great game against Dallas. I mean, they lost, but it was a good game, and we know Dallas is a good team. So, the Chargers are legit. We know this. I'm completely staying away from this game. I think any team could win. Will the Chiefs probably win? Yes. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking them with any amount of points. What do you think?
Yeah, this is, if anything, it's a money line or teaser play for me for the Chiefs. I definitely don't have a lot of trust in the Chargers to go into Kansas City and win after they just took a pretty devastating loss in Baltimore. However, you mentioned in the beginning of the show, the Chiefs have no fucking defense, dude. I mean,
yeah,
it's surprising to me how this team has just managed to make and win the AFC Championship, 2 out of 3 years or whatever, or 3 out of, I think maybe 3 out of 3 years, or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, they've been dominated, but I just don't know how this team has this defense and can keep up winning games.
No way.
Somehow or another, they always find a way to win. So I think taking them with points is probably the mistake. But if you're going to play money line or put them in a teaser, I think that's going to be the play for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Saints 1-1 against the New England Patriots 1-1. The current line is New England -3. I'm going to go ahead and, this could be a hot take, but this is actually going to be one of my first weeks where I believe in a lot of underdogs, and I think the Saints are going to beat the Patriots. So I am going to take them. I mean, I'm going to have a couple parlays that I'm going to mess around with. I'll have the Saints money line, but I mean, I love them with points. I love them on a teaser, probably getting like 9 points. That seems like a lock to me, like the Saints +9. Yeah, I think the Saints are going to win. What about you?
Yeah, no, I need to see more. I want to see what these assistant coaches come back. I think Marcus Lattimore was beat up. And then the other guy, Davenport. It's not enough tape for me to make a decision off of. Maybe the Patriots are a little bit more real than I thought. Obviously, they're very well coached. I just have no interest in this game either way, so I'm totally off of it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots, I don't know if we can really gauge how good they are, right? Like, they struggled against the Dolphins, and lost, and then they beat an extremely shitty team in the Jets. Like the Jets are probably the worst team in the NFL. So how good are the Patriots? Why are they even favored? Is it just because Belichick? Is it because they're at home? I don't know, but I think, like you said, probably stay away from it. But I think, just for the record, the Saints are going to win. Next game, Atlanta Falcons 0-2 against the New York Giants in New York. Current line, the Giants are favored by 3 points. Who you taking?
Who?
I think we're both on the same page here. We're definitely staying away from this game. But once again, I'm going to go take the underdog. If I was to pick a team to win, I do think the Falcons go into New York and beat the Giants. But am I going to put action on it? Probably not.
No.
Next game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals 1-1 against the Steelers 1-1, who, by the way, got fucking spanked by the Raiders. And then the line is Pittsburgh is favored by 3.5. This is you're going to hear me say this a lot, but this is another game I'm staying away from, but I do think the Bengals are going to actually win.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers are beat up right now on defense. You know, that's what people know the Bears for, right? They're always known for their defense. Steel curtain for the Steelers. They've always had a legitimate defense. Their star player, who we just talked about the other week, that recorded the sack on Josh Allen, which, you know, changed the game, got the fumble, everything like that. TJ Watt is out with an injury. Devin Bush was out last week. Joe Hayden was out last week. Clearly, that had a huge effect on them. Granted, maybe 2 out of the 3 will be back this week, but I'm not really taking a lot of faith in the Steelers here. If I do have a pick aside, I think the Steelers have an edge just from being at home. You know, I think they match up pretty well as far as offensive comparisons between Joe Burrow and the 30-whatever-year-old Ben Roethlisberger and the weapons that they
You're
have.
crazy. Are you saying that
Burrow, dude? I don't know.
Have you watched any of the Steelers games? Like, Ben Roethlisberger is washed. He's not even a serviceable NFL quarterback anymore.
Dude, I saw Joe Burrow throw 3 fucking picks out of
his O-line fell apart, man. What are you supposed to do?
Who says they're gonna stay up on this game?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm not picking a team. I'm saying if I'm going with one or the other, it's going to be Pittsburgh with the points. I'm not picking the Bengals. I have no trust in them at all.
I'm definitely not going to put action on it. I do think the Bengals win this game. We'll have to see what happens on this one.
We'll do a side bet for a couple times.
Yeah, we'll talk. All right, next game. Arizona Cardinals against the Jacksonville Jags. Cardinals are 2-0. Jags are 0-2. The current line is Arizona minus 7.5. As it really like pains me to say, because watching Arizona against the Vikings last week was so painful to watch. I think I even yelled like, I will never fucking bet on these morons again. But somehow they won, and somehow here I am the next week. This is my lock of the week. Because you know what? Like, my lock of the week last week was Denver against the Jags. And like right now, like the most guaranteed thing in my life is knowing I can fade on the Jaguars. Like, so yeah. I'm gonna take the 7.5. I like it a lot. And yeah, this is lock of the week for me.
Nice. Wow, I didn't know it was your lock of the week. Interesting. Yeah, I love the spot for the Cardinals. I think they built off the momentum that they had last week. Kyler Murray is going to have an MVP-like year. He'll definitely be in the conversation. And this is a team where you really stack up your numbers against. I mean, the Jaguars are just young. They're trying to figure shit out.
Awful, by the way. Like, he looked good in the start of the game, but then he just like got worse and worse.
Who was this?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I had other shit to do and business to take care of. But yeah, no, I don't give a fuck about Trevor Lawrence. He's going to have one of these years. He'll probably be good at some point, but right now, who I do like though is Rondale Moore.
Yeah, Rondale Moore is a stud.
Yeah, I saw him at Purdue. I remember like David Blau, I think the backup quarterback for Lions was his quarterback back then, and I think that's when they knocked off Ohio State a couple of years ago. And that kid was unstoppable, and he's really showing up for the Cardinals now. So yeah, I am with you on this. I am all over the Cardinals. Have them in a number of my bets. So yeah, we're riding Cardinals high.
Yeah, this is definitely it's my lock of the week. Yeah. All right, next game. Which just seems so fucking ridiculous to me. But the 0-2 New York Jets, which in my opinion are the worst team in football, against the 2-0 Denver Broncos in Denver. Denver is minus 10.5, which is kind of comical to me. So I mean, like, all right, so check it out. The Jets are that bad, but the Broncos aren't that great. That 2-0 is, I mean, it's one against Jacksonville and the other one's against New York Giants. I mean, that's probably like two of the bottom four teams. So I'm not going to put too much stock into the Broncos. I did watch a lot of the whole game last week. As you know, that was my lock. They for sure are going to beat the Jets. I don't know. 10.5 just seems a little too generous to give to a shitty team, even if you're even playing a shittier team. So, I mean, that's my take on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we talked about this earlier, right? Like the Broncos, it's not like they have an Aaron Rodgers or they're, somebody that's just going to completely like blow them out of the water and rip them apart. I mean, they got Teddy Two Gloves. So,
Hey, and Sutton looked good. Like finally, and if they build chemistry and then they get Judy back, the Broncos are going to be problems later on in the year, and they were hurt on defense too. So
yeah,
I mean,
Bradley Chubb is out. I mean, it's a great game. I think just laying double digits to the Jets, you just never know. It's not something I'm comfortable with. I probably won't have.
Zach Wilson. I know it's only 2 weeks into the season, but the kid's a bust. Let's call it what it is. I mean, he's a bust. Hate to see it.
Impressive right now, but. Well,
I mean, obviously it's early. He has a lot of career left, but I mean, out of all the quarterbacks, I mean, he's like the Henry Ruggs of last year's receiver class,
Damn.
And speaking of Henry Ruggs, we got the Miami Dolphins going into Vegas to play the red hot Raiders. 2-0. The Raiders are just beating ass all around the league. They beat what was that bum team? The Steelers. And then they also beat, the MVP led Lamar Jackson. Dude, who's next? Do you think the Dolphins without Tua has any chance? I don't know. So
no, this is a 4-unit play for me.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I was waiting until the line came out. Doesn't matter if it's Jim Bob, Tua, Kua, Bua. Don't matter who the quarterback is. The Raiders are gonna fucking perform here, and I think this is
one thing I will say is Josh Jacobs might not play, and now there's even talk there's also talk that Derek Carr might not play.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think that matters either because I think Nathan Peterman can come in and handle the Dolphins. To be honest, so
I'm all over the Raiders on this play. I think Carr is going to play though. I mean that has a lot to do with it, but if he doesn't, it probably won't be a 4-unit play for me. But I'm definitely going to have money on the Raiders. Probably buy it down to a field goal. Obviously, we're taping this on the Tuesday, so these lines are prone to change one way or the other. But if it's there, I'll probably get them by a field goal. But I'm confident that the Raiders are just going to take care of business, no matter who's on the other side of the ball for the Dolphins.
I agree. I agree. I think the line seems pretty generous too. Like Raiders giving up 3.5. That's doable,
Maybe lock it in while there's questionable.
That's true. This is one of those games that you might want to lock in the line early. So
same thing with the Titans. So they're not sure about Wentz yet, but if you can get them at 5 right now, I would. Because if they do decide to go with Jacob Eason, I got to imagine that line is going to rise above a touchdown. I would believe. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so the next game we got the Tampa Bay Bucks 2-0, looking pretty good against another really good team. The LA Rams 2-0. I'm actually kind of excited for this game personally. So the line, let me start with the line. Tampa Bay's favored only by a point. I couldn't even tell you who's going to win this game. I think it's going to be a great game. I have no clue. If I had to guess, I would say the Buccaneers, but since I have no clue, I'm obviously not going to bet on it, but I'm excited to watch it. What about you, Z?
Yeah, this is kind of similar to the Cowboys and Chargers game. This is kind of just for the love of the game. I think one of those types that you just want to see great football being played. I think this is a possible NFC championship matchup potentially. I think, Matthew Stafford clearly seems comfortable in his role there. He likes what he's doing. This is going to be one as far as the spread, how it is right now. I'm staying away. But I will maybe have a little play for this later on in the show, so I'll let you know.
Alrighty. So final verdict, I think we're gonna enjoy it, but unless it's like on a teaser play, probably not.
Yeah.
So this out of the very few games that I like, here's one that I do like that I will be putting money on. I'm gonna have it in parlays. I'm gonna take it straight, but it's the Seattle Seahawks against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Current line, Seattle's only given up 2 points. One thing I will start off by saying is the Vikings easily could be 2-0 right now. I mean, both of their games came down to the wire. They should have won against the Cardinals, but kicker did some weird kicker shit and completely missed the kick, so they lost that game. And they lost an overtime game against Burrow and the Bengals. So, I mean, but Seattle should roll them. I mean, there's no reason Seattle can't cover 2. I mean, that's a steal to me. What about you? What do you think?
What did I tell you before? Remember what I told you last week against the Titans? Seattle does not cover big spreads. There was no way they were going to cover the 6. That's why I put the Titans in the teaser just to be safe. But that being said, coming off a heartbreaking loss last week in overtime at home, facing the Minnesota Vikings, who honestly I don't give a lot of credit to, and they're only between a 1 and 2 point favorite. This is my lock of the week. This is my 5-unit play. This Seattle Seahawks are going to bounce back and fucking crush Kirk Cousins and all of his little friends on the Vikings. I'm telling you this right now. My reputation is on this. This kid is hot. I'm 1-1 in my fucking lock picks, and you want to be 2-1 with me on this. Trust me. If your girlfriend gave you some money to go buy her something nice for dinner, tell her, sorry, I just put all that money on fucking Seattle -2. If your mom gave you money to cut your grass, if this is a 10-year-old kid watching this game and your mom gave you money for cutting the grass last week, take that money, go find somebody that's 18 years old and tell them to fucking bet on the Seahawks for you. If you just had a bar mitzvah and
all right,
your money from all of your family and friends, take that fucking money and bet it on the Seahawks. Lock of the week.
All right. Well, I guess I don't even have to ask you final verdict because I think if you got it, spend it on the Seahawks. That seems like a good move. So Sunday Night Football, I think this is going to be a good game, but honestly, fuck both of these teams. It's the Green Bay Packers who are 1-1 against the San Francisco 49ers who are 2-0 and a pretty weak ass 2-0. It's one of those we expect the Niners to be not last year's Niners, but the championship Niners going into it. But as we've seen them almost collapse the Lions, which they did win.
George Kittle even on the team anymore? I mean,
Jimmy G looks terrible. I mean, they barely beat the Eagles last week. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. I honestly don't know how good they are. And the Packers, that was a nice little bounce back, but I'm not convinced on them either. So San Francisco is currently favored by 3.5. There's no way I'm going to bet on this game. Since it is Sunday Night Football, I probably will bet on it live since I am a degenerate and I'm going to watch this and want to bet on it. But going into it, nothing.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm so bored. I just want to enjoy the game because whatever. If I'm down a lot of money, I'm betting this game 100%.
Who are you taking?
I do like the 49ers here.
I do like the 49ers.
Like the Packers defense. The 49ers defense, obviously, in week 1. I kind of give them a pass on that because they were up so many fucking points. They just didn't care. They're like, yeah, we're going to win the game. They scored garbage time touchdowns against us. And to be honest with you, the Eagles was actually their first test. I do give the Eagles. I think they were a decent team and they kept them in check. I mean, they had a lot more weapons, obviously, than the Lions had. But it was a close game. But if I am going to take action, it would be San Francisco. But I guess we'll see when we get to that point where my bankroll is at for the week.
Yeah. If I had to pick a team, it would probably be the Niners, but definitely not betting on it. Let's
Aaron Rodgers is from the North Bay area, and I think historically he doesn't really play well when he goes back home.
It is true. That is true.
I saw in the
Yeah.
NFC Championship game a couple of years ago. They got when like who was it Mostert that ran for like 500 touchdowns that game. It was like ridiculous. Jimmy G didn't have to do anything, just like normal. So,
Well, we'll see. There's no old Mozart and Jimmy G.
oh wait a minute, there are 3 of their running backs that are hurt. Is that right?
That's correct. The Niners have no running backs right now. I mean, last time I checked, they were like trying out like Lamar fucking what's his name?
Oh yeah, no, I got a flyer in the mail to try out. So yeah, I think we're pretty down right now.
And on the flip side, we got Jones. Like, oh my god, the dude I was playing in fantasy had Jones, and like I won by a point. So that dude almost.
What a cool story, by the way, man. I mean, his dad died of COVID.
Yeah, that is a cool
his
story.
ashes around his neck.
Cool story, but you know what I mean. It's
What a great game for him and a good start. So yeah, he's a good guy. I'm happy for him. So
yeah, that was great. It was good to see him.
So
all right, Monday Night Football. We got the Eagles, who we were just talking about, 1-1, looking great against the new and improved Cowboys, also 1-1. So the Cowboys are favored by 4 points.
yeah.
I mean, I think rightfully so. I think the Cowboys do win. I would take a money line if you were to take. I wouldn't feel comfortable at any points just because realistically, I think the Eagles could win this game. Do I think they will? No, but they could. So anytime I'm thinking like that, I usually stay away. I definitely stay away if there's a spread like more than 3.
Yeah, I actually like the money line and underplay in this. So
under is 51.5 currently.
Yeah, so I think I might parlay it that night, just depending on the action. I mean, it's a new week. My books are up on Sunday night, so I'll be down to a balance of 0 again. Yeah, I think this could be an action play for me as far as like parlaying them both. But I do not like laying 4 to the Eagles. I think this could be a pretty close game. But I do like Dallas at home here. As I did say on the show last week, I liked Dallas against the Chargers as well. Which leads me to our section of the show. And Professor Z is in the house. And we're going to talk about extracurriculars here. So, to give everybody a little taste of what happened last week, and again, what are we doing? Commercials here? What the fuck is this?
I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from.
First of all, we don't need the
let's take this
off. We'll work that out week 5. Jesus Christ. Can I do my goddamn extracurriculars, dude? Oh, it's my computer. Sorry.
Oh my god! All right, dude.
All right, my bad. Here we go.
Segment. Get to the point here. What do you got?
So last week, and again, I'm sorry to my viewers for not sharing these. These kind of come in real time, but just so you know, this is why I have a $100 bill in my pocket because the kid is on fire. So last week, my teaser plays. So you know, for the record, I had Tennessee plus 12.5, Cowboys plus 9, Chiefs plus 2.5 as a teaser play. My other parlay took 4 money line games: Browns, Rams, Cardinals, Buccaneers, and then I had one other teaser for 5 teams: Bucks minus 7, Cowboys plus 9, Cardinals plus 2, Broncos pick, and Browns minus 6.5. So my teaser plays are already in for this week. And again, this is extracurriculars here. Professor Z is in the house. As a teaser, this is what I have for this following week. I have the Cardinals minus 1.5, the Bills minus 3, the Titans plus 1, the Ravens minus 2.5. Also, in another teaser, I did take the Cardinals, the Bills minus 3, Cardinals minus 1.5, Buccaneers plus 7, plus a touchdown against the Rams, and then the Seahawks plus 4.5. So you have my teaser plays. You know our locks of the week. Do what you need to do. Again, I just want to share this with you because I'm rolling. I want you to roll with me as well. Thank you for letting me speak my piece. And the kid is still on fire.
Well, he said it best. From week 1, I think we've both been on fire. We pretty much got every game except Green Bay, right? The first week. This last week, almost every game except I feel like KC really was like the one that kind of shocked us. I think it shocked a lot of people. But overall, I mean, we're making money. We're dead on. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it. Let's keep this fire. You know, I like the jacket. We'll keep the segments. And if you already haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see you degenerates next week. Good luck.
Stay lit, motherfuckers.